Alright, when you're jacking your car up, you're going to want to get a pretty heavy duty jack. You're also going to need some jack stands to put it on after you get it up. But let me show you exactly where you're going to want to jack. You're going to want to make sure that you're jacking from the frame. And you can see there's kind of like a large rail underneath. And that's the frame. Make sure your jack is on the frame of the car, otherwise you could damage the car. Alright, if I didn't mention it yet, it's always a good idea to make sure that you have your emergency brake on so your car isn't moving around. I do have it on jack stands, and you're going to want to loosen up this the oil plug. I'm going to need both hands for that. And then after that you get your 14mm socket wrench, and then you head down here. It's kind of on the left side near the left tire. You can see this box shaped thing right there, and let's get a little bit closer. Your drain plug is right here, so you give that a few twists, righty tighty lefty loosey, and make sure it's draining in your oil pan, and make sure you put that plug right back in afterwards. Otherwise, when you put in fresh oil, it's going to come right out the bottom. Alright, you can see I've got some oil dripping down in my oil pan here. And once it's done dripping, you're going to want to replace the plug on that. And the next thing you're going to want to do, take care of, is your oil filter. Your oil filter is located right up in here. In fact, let's take a look. That's your oil filter right there. You're going to want to twist that to the left when you do. Oil's going to come out of there. Careful, it could be kind of hot and it's going to get on your hands. And make sure you got the oil pan underneath to catch the oil from the oil filter. Okay, I got my old oil filter off. You can see it's draining there in the oil pan. And I got a new oil filter right there. One of the very important things that you need to do is you need to make sure you get your finger in some oil, and around that red gasket on the top, make sure you get that nice and oily. Otherwise, if the gasket's dry, the engine block heats up and it could actually bake that gasket onto the engine block. You don't want that to happen. So make sure you get some oil from the old oil there, go around that gasket, and then just screw the gasket, or screw the oil filter on the same way that you took that oil filter off. It's also important to remember when you're installing the new oil filter, make sure that when you're screwing it on, you're only screwing it on hand tight. If you need some sort of oil wrench or filter wrench, you're screwing it on too hard. You should be able to screw it on, screw it off with your hands. If you need more than your hands, you're doing it wrong. Okay, we're almost done. You could probably take your car down off the jack stands if you want now and level it out. You're going to want to put some 5W20 motor oil in here. There's not a whole lot of space for a funnel to go. If you try this, you'll see what I mean later on. But I usually put in about 4 quarts, and then I check the dipstick, because if you put in 5 quarts, you put in too much oil in this engine. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me exactly how much oil should belong in here, but I usually put in 4 quarts, check the dipstick, and then after that, make sure you put the drain plug or the plug back in, and you should be good to go.